Hi guys, and welcome back to lesson number 4 based on algebra. So in today's lesson we're going to be looking at factorization, and we're going to continue looking at factorization over the next number of lessons. Now first of all, what is factorization? Well, factorization is the opposite of expanding brackets. Basically what you're doing here is you're finding different expressions or terms or two different things that multiply by each other to give you a particular expression, like these ones behind me. Now there's 4 types of factorization. We're going to start off by focusing on highest common factor. Now, highest common factor, usually what you'll find is, typically speaking, there is 2 terms, 1, 2, as you'll see in all these examples here beside me, when we're using highest common factor. And it's actually the last type of factorization, personally, I would look at. I kind of go down through the other ones first, but it is the easiest one to do. So let's start with A. And just so you know, this question here, which is actually question or exercise, I should say, 4.1. Just going to make a little note of that there. If for anybody who's working off the book or the notes, is over on page number 25. Now, with this here, what do we have to think about? Well, first of all, here, highest common factor. We've all heard of a highest common factor. It's something that's going to multiply or divide, I should say, into both of these terms here evenly. So let's start off with A, and notice that I'm doing pretty much every second question from exercise 4.1 just to give you a little bit of variation here. So we have 2 terms for A and we're asked to factorize it. So let's look at the 2 terms. First of all, the number in both terms, i.e. 2 and 4. Now I want you to think of a number in your head, the highest common factor, basically the largest number you can think of that will divide into both 2 and 4 evenly. So 1 obviously will go in, but that mightn't be the highest one. 2. If you think about 2, 2 will go into 2 once, 2 will go into 4 twice. Now let's look at the variables. We have y and then we don't have a y. Well, if we don't have a y over here, it can't be a common factor with both these terms. So 2 is my highest common factor in 2y and 4. Now to factorize, what we want to do beside this 2, my highest common factor, is open our bracket. So something like this. And what we want to say to ourselves is 2 times what will give me 2y, and then 2 times what will give me plus 4. So let's take a look. 2 times y, 2 multiplied by y will give me 2y, and 2 multiplied by what? 2 multiplied by 2 will give me 4. Now, obviously, that is my answer there. However, oftentimes I'll tell students or say to students to check their answer, particularly if you're in an exam situation and you have 2 minutes on the clock. No problem checking it, make sure you get it done and dusted. Now to check it, obviously here, I'm just going to rewrite it to make it nice and neat. We have 2 bracket y plus 2. Let's multiply out this bracket, and what we should get is our original expression. So here we have 2 times y, and then 2 times 2. 2 times y is going to leave me with 2y. 2 times 2 is going to leave me with 4. That there is the original expression. So what we know is that we got the right answer here. We factorized correctly. Coming on to part C, so skipping over just if you're looking at the notes on page number 25. So here in this case, what do we have? Let's look at the numbers first. We're trying to factorize using highest common factor. So numbers wise, we have 9 and minus 15. Now I shouldn't say number, I should say the word coefficient there. What will divide into both 9 and 15 evenly? Well, 3. 3 is the largest number that will divide into 9 and 15 evenly. 3 goes into 9 3 times, 15 5 times. Now let's take a look at the variable. Now here we obviously have b, and here we have b squared. Now b squared basically means b times b. We can only pull out or use as a factor to the lowest power. So in this case here you have b to the power 1, and here you have b to the power 1. So we have 1b or b to the power 1 on both sides. So we can pull b out as part of our highest common factor. So my highest common factor of 9b and minus 15b squared is 3b. So let's open our bracket here. 3b times what will give me 9b? Well, 3 times 3 will give me 9. 3b times 3 will give me 9b. Next, what we have is we want to get to minus 15b squared. Be careful of your signs. Here, a plus times a what will give me a plus times a minus. So 3 times what will give me minus 15, 3 times minus 5. We're now looking at the variable. We have b here. b times what will give me b squared. B times b. Remember, when you multiply variables, you add their powers when they're the same variable. Close my bracket. Now again, same idea as before. Let's take a second and let's check if our answer is correct. We'll check the first two and then you can do the rest yourselves in your own time. So you have 3b bracket 3 minus 5b. Now, obviously, it's very easy to make a mistake, so that's why we're checking and we're showing ourselves that when we expand it back out, it's the exact same as the original expression. So here, what we have 3b times what and 3b times 3 and 3b times minus 5b. So here we have 3b times 3 is going to give me 9b. 3b times minus 15b, 3 times minus 5 gives me minus 15. b times b is b squared. Take a look up. Is that the same expression as originally you had there? Yes, it is. So I know my answer is correct. So again, you're seeing factorization is the opposite of expansion. Now moving on to part E, again on page number 25 of the note. So here for E, what we see here is we have 2p squared minus 6p. So same idea, start off here by looking at the number or coefficient. So here we have to say to ourselves 2 and 6. What will divide evenly into both 2 and 6? Well, 2 goes into 2 and 2 goes into 6. So let's take out 2. Now let's look at our variables p squared and p. A little reminder here, as we mentioned before, p squared is p times p. And we have p over here. We can only ever pull out to the lowest power. So we'll take p and p from both sides. So I'm going to pull out p. So my highest common factor here is 3p. Open my brackets. I say to 2p. 2p times what gives me 2p squared? Well, 2p times p will give me 2p squared. 2p times what will give me minus 6p. Plus times a minus is a minus. 2 times 3 is 6. And 2p times minus 3 will give me minus 6p. Remember, if I put a p there, I'd actually end up getting p squared, and that would not be correct. Again, I'll let you check this. Make sure you do. On as far as G. With G, we have 9x cubed plus 3xy. So here, this is a little bit different because actually now what we're doing is we're bringing in an additional variable. We have two variables here, both x and y. So what happens? Well, let's start off as usual, no panic. We look at our digits here, our coefficients. So we have 9 and 3. So to start off here, will divide into both 9 and 3 evenly? What's the biggest number? Well, that's 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times, 3 goes into 3 once. Now what we want to start doing is looking at the variables that's there. So we have x cubed, which is the same as me saying x times x times x. X times itself 3 times. And then we also have x over here. Now, x is common with both terms here. So obviously we can pull out x to the power of something, but it'll only ever be able to pull out to the lowest power, which is x to the power 1 here. So I'm going to pull out x. So it's like we're taking an x from either side. Finally here, what we have is y. However, if you notice with y, there's no y with the first term here, 9x cubed. So therefore, it cannot be a common factor between these two terms, so we can't pull it out. So 3x is my highest common factor. So what we want to do now is we want to factorize. So 3x times what will give me 9x cubed, no minus there. So 3 times 3 is going to leave me with 9. And x times what will give me x cubed? X times x squared. 3 times what will give me 3? 3 times 1. Now, I don't need to place that 1 down there, but I can if I want. X times what gives me x? Well, x times 1 gives me x. So 3x times 1y will give me 3xy. And again, to check my answer, I'm going to multiply it out. This 1, just so you know, doesn't have to be there. It's perfect just to have y there. Finally, the very last one, h. So for h here, we see no coefficients. All we see is variables, both a and b. So here to start off with a. A is seen on both sides, just a to the power 1. So I'm going to pull out a here. My second variable is b. We have b squared, which is b times b. And we have b. So again, we can only pull it out for the lowest power. So we're going to take out b. It's like taking a 1b from each side. Now I'm going to open my bracket. That's my highest common factor. But again, we want to factorize here. Now, this is one where students make a mistake. And you might have noticed I put a 1 there. I was trying to kind of get that into your head. AB times what will give me AB squared? AB times B will give me AB squared. Remember, B times B is B squared. AB times what will give me plus AB? Notice actually this is identical here. But you still, when you multiply it out, you still have to get the exact same expression. So AB times 1 will give me AB. Okay? Now, that is highest common factor. Done and dusted. We've done 5 examples. What we're going to move on to next is we're going to move on to grouping.